Hi, this is Emma from Centered Within, and I wanted to talk about a lot of things, but I thought, well, what can I talk about? Because I want to talk about everything. And connection, obviously, is connected to everything because we have a connection with absolutely everything. Everything that we touch, look at, have a relationship with, in, thinking about, being, trying on, doing something new, doing the same, all your material things, everything. You have a connection to everything. But when you think that's not connected to you or there's a disassociation, that's when it becomes not a part of you. And that can come in so many different forms, in so many different forms. It was interesting. It was not interesting, actually. It was heartbreaking. Yesterday, I was listening to this radio commentary, and this man came on. He had the flu, and he was really upset. In the UK, there are many issues to do with heating and things like that. So people are keeping themselves warm which way they can. But this particular gentleman, he didn't say his age. I don't know if he was an older gentleman. He didn't sound that old. But the thing is, he hadn't seen anyone in 9 days. He had the flu, and he had his dog with him. Thank goodness he had his dog with him. But it's just because he hadn't seen. Now, he had the flu. He's obviously in a very cold home. And when you've got the flu and you're not very well and you've got no one to look after you, you are going to feel even worse. And that's whether he's been able to get out and get medication for himself or anything like that. And it really made me think, it was like that lack of connection that he has, for whatever reason, is making his situation so much worse. It was actually really good because the radio presenter took his details because he was going to phone his local council to tell them that someone's got to do something, because this man was crying. He said, he thought he was going to die, and all that type of stuff. And it was really heartbreaking. But even if he had had someone knock on the door and come in and make him a cup of tea, twice out of those 9 days, 3 times, that connection would have given him so much. Now, that's not always the case, and that can't always happen. Thank goodness he had a dog, because the dog, bless that dog, I can see that dog there. Even though it's quite interesting, when you have an animal, you sometimes forget that you have a connection. I know they sound strange, but it's because you do all these elements for the dog, take them for a walk, feed them, water them, all that sort of stuff. Have a cuddle, have a play, and then, all the other bits in between. Now, I've spoken to many people think, I don't have a great connection with my dog. I was like, well, you do. You have a greater connection than you think. And your dog, your animal, is talking to you all the time. And that dog, his dog, would have been giving him, but he may not, he may possibly, would have been definitely in a place that he couldn't have understood that connection, what the dog was trying to tell him, because he was just so gone beyond that, because he just felt so disconnected from everything. So even his dog probably couldn't connect with him, because your animals are connecting with you all the time. Animals are connecting with you all the time. But when you are disconnected, and this man, obviously for very, very good reasons, not to see anyone for 9 days, that's a long, long time. It's a huge amount of times. And I know lots of people in the same sort of situations. They don't hear from someone or don't see anyone. This is why I'm very passionate. I'm setting up, it's a process, but my legacy, because I don't have children myself, so my legacy is part of what I do, the business that I'll be doing, and other businesses as they come about, whatever they may be, will be setting up 3 foundations. One of them is for children and with children so the foundation is that the money would then go to charities and groups to support them to support whoever. And the 3 foundations would be one for children with behavioural difficulties or issues, and it's the support for them, their family as well. So it's the parents and their siblings. There'll be a foundation for people who, like this man, he's older, he's on his own, he's got no connection, or in and out of hospital, or in a care home, in and out of care home type of thing, or have a carer but not often, that, you know, someone calls them, someone goes round. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, the foundation is a source of funding for the charities, but these charities can only do so much. And also the other one is for animals. So that will be my legacy that I'll leave, is these 3 foundations. And that's why I'm so passionate about setting these up, because being an intuitive healer, you know, I can only do so much, and there's such a marginalized group that would never be able to tap into my services anyway, or would I be able to reach them anyway, because of their disconnect. Now, that's not through any fault of their own. There is many elements attached to that. I was disconnected. I was so disconnected. Do you know, I was so disconnected. It's interesting actually, because someone else was talking about when they hit rock bottom, but it's not like you go hit rock bottom and then come straight back up. It can last for some time, and my rock bottom was a good few years. This man was 10. Mine was only, I think, 3 or 4. And I totally disconnected myself, and I actually wanted to disconnect. And the interesting thing was, when I came back to England, and when I finally, why did I have to go? Oh yeah, I had to register at the doctors. But I'd previously been living in Scotland, so I gave them the details and all that sort of stuff. And I wasn't even on the NHS system. They were like, "You don't exist." I was like, "Well, I do. I'm 47." My whole medical history had been wiped. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So yeah, that was just, and I think because I disconnected myself so much, it's like I didn't exist. I was like hidden away from everything, and it was like a true reflection of my medical. I mean, it's when I went a little while ago to the doctors, because I had to go for a health check. I didn't have to, but they offer it for free. So I went for a health check. I think you get it if you're between 40 and 70 in the UK. So they give a blood test. You give a blood test, all the general sort of information and all that sort of stuff. And she said, "Oh, this is the first time you've ever had a blood test." I said, "It's not. I mean, at the time I was 46. I said, "I'm 46. I've had many blood tests in my time, but according to my records, I've never ever had a blood test. I've never had any vaccinations whatsoever." But, you know, for me, that was a reflection of how much I had disconnected from absolutely everything. So when you lack connection or cannot connect, it does have a far-reaching impact. Now, that's not to say you have done something wrong because you have disconnected, because there's probably a very good reason why you have. A very good reason why you have. But this is looking at the importance of connection and building that back up. Now, for this man, and obviously I have no communication with him, but energetically I'm sending it to him. He has a dog with him. If you do have an animal with you and you do feel very lonely, your animal is so connected with you. It is unreal. They're trying to tell you so much all the time. It's almost like we ricochet that off us, because sometimes we're like, can that really happen? Of course it can. Who can say otherwise? You can say neither yay or nay, really, because no one has actual evidence of one or the other. It's what you truly believe and how you connect in. I truly believe when I go out walking, there's always a robin, always a robin. And I believe that's my dad, that I connect to my dad. Well, I connect with him in very other different ways. But for me and the robin, and quite often, and that robin, and it's not always an idyllic place. Yes, I'm on the moors and you think, of course, a robin's going to be flying around. I've been in Luton walking around the streets, going on walks, and a robin's been there. So it's not because I'm in the most magical, idyllic place. It's just because, that. But you'll have people that say, oh, this isn't possible and all that sort of stuff. That's their truth and that's their opinion and that's what they want to believe. That's fine. Don't take that away from what you believe in your connection. That's when disassociation comes, because you think you have to disconnect from there because the other person says that. They connect in different ways, or maybe they don't connect in different ways, but don't let that allow a disconnection in yours. Or you think you should connect in that way, but you're not going to feel it because it's got an infiltration of what someone else says or feels it should be. This is how disconnection can come about, because we listen, we adjoin ourselves, we fuse ourselves to someone else. Now, again, this is so easily done, because when you don't know yourself, when you're not connected to yourself, of course you are going to align yourself with someone else and think that's the right thing to do. We all do it. I have done it many, many times. But when we understand connection and the true sense of it and how we are connected to not so many things, everything, that's when we can learn to support ourselves and learn that we need support as well. And it was really good actually that man did call into that radio show. So, he connected and I'm hoping that he will get all the help that he needs, because he chose to connect. He couldn't live in the disconnect he was living in anymore. Now, I could talk about connection for a long time. Hence why I'm going to write a book about it. But connection can come in all varying forms. You can connect with just a smile. You can connect with a hello. You can connect with just acknowledgement. I could go on for a long time talking about it. But when we learn to connect with ourselves and feel that connection, truly feel it, then we can start learning to connect outwardly and what those connections do for us, how they feed us and how we feed that. Because it's a two-way, it's like a pipe. Call it a pipe of energy. Now, sometimes it's going one way or the other, and sometimes there's nothing at all. When it's going backwards and forwards, when it's in that flow, that is connection, and you can feel that. We can feel a lot more than we give ourselves credit for. It's just we're so tuned into this that we forget this. And there is so much when we listen to this. I'm just seeing if there's anything else that needs to come through. No, I think that's it. I think I need to talk about this some more, and I will on one of my other platforms and doing something else. Sending you so much love. Bye.